Hi guys, welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we're going to show you how to customize your little back to the top button. If I scroll down this site here, we've got our little back to the top button here. When I click on it, it's going to pop back to the top. That works great, it's fine, but you may want to style it a little bit, make it a bit more like your logo or any colors that you've got on your site there. So we're going to change ours from something like that to something that looks a little more like this, which is more in keeping with my site here. Really easy to do. Got to do a little bit of CSS coding for this today, but as usual I'll pop any code I write down below the video. Okay, well, let's get rid of this. For anybody that doesn't know, to enable your actual back to the top button, go down to your dashboard, down to Divi Theme options. We're under the general tab here, and if you roll down a little bit, you've got back to the top button. So if yours is not showing, you just need to enable it here. Once you've enabled it, save your changes. Okay, let's go back to this site. We've got the regular button here. I'm using Google Chrome with the great inspector tools, but most browsers have inspector tools nowadays. If yours doesn't, Google Chrome is a free download. I'm going to right click on my back to the top button and inspect it. Let's move this down a little bit so we can see. There's our little button here. Let's get to the right place. And if I click on it there, you can see it's being highlighted over the left. If you've got elements selected on one side, it will show you the HTML. If you've got styles selected on the other side, it'll show you the CSS code. And here it is just down here, ET, PB, scroll top, and icon. So the first thing you might want to change is just the actual background color of it yourself. And you can use RGBA, you can use just regular web colors, you can use hex colors. For the sake of argument, I'm just going to put in blue. As you can see, that's changed to blue there. Great. Now you might decide you want it out slightly from the right hand side there. At the moment it's at the 0 mark, right 0 right there. If we look at that line of code, if I click on it, change that to maybe 5 pixels, something like that, whatever works for you. It's put it out by 5. If you want to see it a little bit more, let's put a 1 in front of there, and you can see it's pushed it out 15. A little bit much for me. I think the 5's fine there. Now if you wanted to change the shape, at the moment it's got a slightly rounded corners on there. If we roll down a little bit, we've got font size, padding and color all here. If you wanted to change the color of the actual chevron, you could put a black in there, or whatever color you wanted to change yours to. If I put it 000, which is CSS3 for black, you can see that's changed to black. I quite like the white though, so let's just leave that as it was. Great. Well, you may decide you want to make it rounded, like as I mentioned in the corners earlier. Let's go up to the top so you can see a little bit more. I'm just going to left click and it'll give us a new line here. You can change the border radius, colon. If I put a 0 there, it'll make it completely square, but I want to make it nice and round, so it's a square. So I can do that by giving it a 50% border radius, so it's 50 and the percentage sign. We've got 2 radiuses here that are affecting it, so I need to uncheck those and uncheck the border bottom there, and we've got a nice round border there. Okay, say you wanted to have perhaps an actual border around there. Let's put a border around there. I'm going to click to the right of border radius here. I'm going to say border, colon. I'm going to make mine 2 pixels, solid. I want it white in color again, so that's FFF. We've now got a little border around there. That's great. And if you want to make it bigger or smaller, we've actually got a font size down here. At the moment it's 30 pixels. If you want to make it smaller, give it a smaller value. If you want to make it bigger, give it a bigger value. I'm going to make mine say 40 pixels. That's great, and it's still going to act in the same way. It's not going to be there when we're at the top of the site. When we roll down the site, it will be there. Now if I was to go ahead and refresh this page now, it would go back to normal, because anything we do in the editor here is what they call non-destructive, so it's only doing it in our browser. We need to make this permanent. Let's bring this up a little bit. I'm actually going to copy this from the dot of ETPB scroll there, class name, all the way down to that last closing bracket. Control C to copy. Now I'm going to go back down to my dashboard. I'm going to go down to Divi again in the theme options, custom CSS panel. Again, we're under the general tab down in Divi, and it's right at the bottom here. I'm going to paste my code in here. If there's something there, you can just scoot it down a couple of lines. Always a great idea to give code a title, that way it's easier to find, especially if somebody else edits the site after you. And the title is // // Anything that you write between the stars won't be read as code, so it's a great place for notes and titles. I'm just going to look back to top. Now I'm going to scoot down just underneath. I'm going to paste that code we copied from our browser. And I can delete anything that we didn't write ourselves. So text align center, don't need that. Border radius 50, we wrote that. Border top, we wrote that. Background blue, we wrote that. Text decoration, we didn't write that. Position fixed or Z index or bottom right. I can delete all of those. We can delete anything that's crossed out. Like I say, anything that we didn't write ourselves, font size we did, we can actually delete. So I want to keep the font size there, and the color FFF was already written for us. Great. So that's really all that we wrote there. And before I save this, I just want to show you a couple of other things. The actual position of it, at the moment we're 125 pixels from the bottom here. If you want to make it further up the page or further down the page, you can just change that value. And again, you'll put it in your style, but obviously that's too high for us. Or if you want to make it shorter, closer to the bottom, just put it like that. 125 was fine there. And the padding, the 5 pixels down here, is the actual padding between the icon itself and the outside border there. So if you up the padding, you can make it a lot bigger. I like 5 pixels, but let's put 15 in there just for fun. You can see it gets huge. So I'm going to take that back down. What I was saying earlier about this being non-destructive, if I get rid of that, if I refresh this page now, that's going to go back to how it was initially. There we are with the generic one. If we go back here, we now save our changes. So you've got the little green check mark there. Now if we go back and refresh, because we've actually written the code in there, we've got our little blue button there. If I roll back up to the top, it disappears. If I roll down, it's going to appear again. I think we had it a little further out from the side there. Let's just inspect that again. I think I gave it 3 pixels or something like that from the right. There it is. So right, I think I decided 3 pixels was good. I obviously didn't copy this over or deleted it. Yeah, that works for me. So I'm just going to copy that one little line there. Control C to copy. I'm going to go back to my code. And I'm going to pop it in right here. Drop down one. Control V to paste. Save the changes again. Back we go. And you won't notice any difference because it's already activated there, but when I refresh, it should be 3 pixels from the right hand side there too. There we go. So there you go, guys, and you can keep on styling it to your heart's desire. When we go back to the top, it's not there. When we start rolling down, it's going to appear. So there's how to style your back to the top button using the fantastic Divi theme. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, pop them below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video like this. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtectives.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.